Hello friends, it is a database management system NPTEL course, 5th assignment in the year 2020. I'm going to explain all the questions in detail. Please be concentrate and try to understand each of the concept clearly. Now coming to question number 1. Question is identify the correct statements from the following. Option A given, World Wide Web is a language used for designing web pages. Actually, what is World Wide Web? Is a distributed information system based on the hypertext. It is not a language. So option A wrong. Option B given, URIs can be classified as locators or names or both. What is URI? URI is called Uniform Resource Identifiers. It can be classified as URNs. URN we call Uniform Resource Name, or we call URL Uniform Resource Locator, or both. Actually URN is for identity, okay, for identity, and URL is for locating the resource. So that URIs we can call URN or URL or both. So option B is the correct option. Option C is given, hypertext transfer protocol is a connection oriented protocol. Actually, what is hypertext transfer protocol? Is a connectionless protocol. It is not connection oriented, it is a connectionless protocol. Actually, what is the meaning of connectionless? Once the server, if the server replies to a client, okay, once the server replies to a client, it closes this connection, okay, with the client and forgets all about the request. That's why we call it as a connectionless protocol. So option C is incorrect. And option D is PHP is a server-side scripting language. It is a correct statement. So answer for question 1 is both option B and D are the correct answers. Coming to question number 2. Identify the correct statements from the following. Option A given, servlets run inside the application servers. It is perfectly correct statement. The servlets always runs on the application server to give a response to the client's requests. And option B given, servlet API does not support session handling. Actually, it does support because it is not given. So option B is incorrect. And option C and option D are based on the syntax of a Java programming language of servlet API. Now option C given, servlet API checks active sessions using the following pseudocode. Now here for testing active sessions, it uses request.getSession method. Request is an object, getSession is a method of false. Request.getSession of false will returns if active session is already there, it returns the existing session. Otherwise it redirects to some authentication page. This is a correct representation. And option D given, if request.getSession of false equal to true, request.getSession of false equal to true, then creates a new session. It is wrong. Why? Because to create a new session we have to use request.getSession of true. This request.getSession of true will create the new session, but request.getSession of false will returns the existing session. That's why option D is incorrect, option C is correct. And answer for the question number 2 is both option A and option C. 2 answers for the question number 2. Question number 3. Which of the following can be the solutions of password leakage in database servers? Password leakage in database servers. Option A given, storing encrypted passwords in the database and its scripts. And generally encryption is required for high security. So that if you have encrypted passwords, so password leakage can be avoided. Option A, I can say it is a correct answer. Now look for option B, reusing passwords across different sites. And even banks and many securities says don't use the same password across all sites. Why? Because it is possible to become a password leakage. So that option B is incorrect. Option C says single factor authentication using password. So if it is single authentication, suppose I know your password, I can easily hack your account details. I can easily access your account details. So option C is wrong. Suppose I do have a two-factor authentication. Generally, when nowadays always it is two-factor authentication. Suppose I am transferring some amount from my bank account to my father's account. First, it will access a transaction password. Later, it will ask for some one-time password authentication. So that is called a two-factor authentication, two-step authentication. So that is also used for avoiding the password leakages. So answer for question number 3 is both option A and option D. Question number 4. The file organization is a sequential and unspanned. That is, one block can store only whole records, but no part of records. Suppose if we store part of a record, we call it as a spanned strategy. No part of a record, we call unspanned strategy. The disk block size is 512 bytes. Each record is of length 32 bytes, and block pointer size is 12 bytes. The question is, how many records can be stored in one block? How many records can be stored in one block? Actually, one block can store n records. One block stores n records and one block point, because one block stores n records and one block pointer. Now, what is the size of the block? The size of the block given is 512 bytes, right? Size of the block given is 512 bytes. And one block pointer, what is the size of the block pointer? 12 bytes. So that actual size of the block, here I am using a word, actual size of a block. Why? Because the question is about how many records can be stored. So to store records, I am removing this block pointer, so that in the remaining space that n records are possible. So that actual size of the block is 512 minus 12, which is equals to 500 bytes. Now the block size is 500 bytes, means this is called available size. To find how many records that we can store into a block, we can decide by finding 500 by what is the size of each record? 32. Means, so that how many records we can store in one block? 500 by 32 lower bound. We take lower bound. Why? Because it is unspanned strategy. Unspanned strategy will not store part of a record. We call no part of a record. Suppose if I take 500 by 32 something, if it is 15 point something, means 15 records fully we store and part of 16th record we store. That is not possible. Why? Because it is unspanned. No part of record is possible. So that what is the value of n? How many records we store? 15 records we can store in one block. So answer for the question number 4 is option B. Question number 5. Suppose that a disk drive has 200 tracks numbered 0 to 199. Assuming this is a track which is numbered from 0 to 199. The queue of pending requests in FIFO, we call first in first out order, is this one. This is the pending request. Now the question is, read write head initially is on track 43. Suppose my read head is at 43 track. What is the total distance that the disk head will move to satisfy all pending requests for first come first serve basis, FCFS scheduling algorithm? Now we'll see, because my disk head is at 43 location, first it has to service the request 86. So means it will move from 43 to say 86. How much distance the disk head moved? We determine that is by using 86 minus 43. This is disk head is moved. Yes. Next, from 86 it has to move to 147. 86 it has to move to 147. Assume this is somewhere 147. So means it is disk head moves from 86 to 147. Means how much distance the disk head is moved? 147 minus 86. Next one is 91. 91 means again from 147 to 91. So how much distance it moved? 147 minus 91. Next is 177. From 91 to 177. So how much distance it moved? 177 minus 91. Next is 48. From 177 to somewhere here 48. So that it will be 177 minus 48 plus. Next is 150. From this point it should be 150. So that what we can say, 150 minus 44. Next 102. From 150 to say 102. So that what we can say, 150 minus 102 plus from 102 to 170, again somewhere here. So that 170 minus 102 plus from 170 to 130. So lastly, so that all the requests are processed. So that what is this, how much distance it is moved to 130 position. So 170 minus 130. When you solve this, means this is a distance a disk head moved. So when you solve this, what it becomes, 86 minus 43, it is 43, then plus 61 plus 56 plus 86 plus 129 plus 102 plus 48 plus 68 plus 40, which is a total of 633 tracks. Okay, it is total of 633 tracks. So answer for the question is option D. D is the correct answer for the question. Question number 6. If a system contains 1000 disk drives, how many disk drives? 1000 disk drives, and each of them has 8 lakh hours of MTBF, mean time between failures, means it is an average time between failures. How often a drive failure will occur in the disk system? How often means how often a drive failure will occur in the disk system. This is called how often a failure will occur, means MTBF, we call mean time between failures. This is not on a single disk, we can call array of drives, array of disk drives. So it means MTBF of array of disk drives, which is equals to MTBF of one disk, means mean time between failure for one disk, by number of disk images, number of disks in array, number of disks in array. So what is MTBF for one disk? Now MTBF for one disk is 8 lakh hours. It is 8 lakh hours by how many disks we have? 1000 disks, which is equals to 800 hours. So MTBF of array of disks, 1000 array of disks is 800 hours, mean time between failures of these 1000 disk drives on average, which is equals to 800 hours. So that correct answer for the question number 6 is option A is the correct answer. Coming to question number 7. A file structure of variable length records, which of the following does a slotted page header? Slotted page header contains. Now to know what it contains, the slotted page header, we need to know the structure of a slotted page. We will see the structure. Here I am going to draw a structure for a slotted page. Here the slotted page consisting of number of entries, and it also contains end of free space. Entries we can call end of free space. Suppose this is a free space in the slotted page header, so it contains end of free space, call it is end of free space, and also consisting of records. Say these are all called records, and these are the pointers to the records, and so on. Okay. This is a slotted page structure, and this slotted page header structure, it contains the number of entries, the end of free space in the block, the location and size of records. It is consisting of location and size of records. These are the things that are there in the slotted page header. So option A is given, number of record entries, that is there, end of free space in the block, that is also there, block pointer not there, size of each record there. So answer for question number 7 is A, B, D. All three are the correct answers for the question number 7. Number 8. Consider a disk pack with the following specifications. 8 double-sided platters, 128 tracks per surface, means in one surface it is having 128 tracks. 56 sectors per track, means in the track we have 256 sectors we have, and 512 bytes per sector, means in one sector we have 12 bytes. Average time is 9 milliseconds. Which of the following is the correct combination of capacity of track and capacity of disk? Approximately, it is to find capacity of track and capacity of disk. First we'll understand what is capacity track. Capacity of a track, which is equals to sector size into number of sectors per track, number of sectors per track. What is the sector size given? That is, each sector is having 512. That sector size is 512 bytes. And how many sectors per track? Now 256 sectors per track. The capacity of a track is 512 into 56, which is equals to 131072. 131072 bytes. Now, which I am converting into KBs, so it will become 131 approximately. 131 KB approximately. So because 131 KB, only option B is matching with an option, so I can go with an answer for option B. I am in an examination hall. Suppose if two options, the capacity of a track is 131 KB, then we have to find capacity of a disk also. Capacity of disk. What is the capacity of a disk? Capacity of one surface. Capacity of one surface formula is to number of platters into number of sides per platter. Number of sides per platter formula. Here we have to find capacity of one surface. We need to find what is the capacity of one surface. Find capacity of one surface, which is equals to capacity of a track. Capacity of track already we calculated, which is equals to 131 KB. Capacity of a track into number of track surfaces. Number of tracks surface, which is equals to capacity of a track. Capacity of a track is 131 KB to that is 512 into 256. Already we calculated 12 into 256 to how many number of tracks per surface? Surface we have 128 tracks into 128. When you solve this one, we will get an approximately 16.78 MB capacity of surface, one surface. Now capacity of a disk is the question. Capacity of disk, which is equals to capacity of one surface, that is 16.78 MB. Number of platters. How many platters we have? 8 platters. All the 8 are double-sided platters. Double-sided platters means number of disk per platter is 2 into 2. When you calculate this one, which is approximately 168 MB. So answer for the question is option B. Completed. Number 9. Tourism department operates boating facility at one of its eco park. There is a number of boats having different seating capacities. Number of boats having different seating capacity. Here I can assume boat is a entity set because it requires to know information about the boats. It is need to have an attribute called seating capacity. Seating capacity is an attribute I'm taking based on the understanding up to this line. These boats are owned by a number of boatmen. Boats are owned by number of boatmen. So I need to have one more entity set we call boatmen. Between boatman and boat, I can have a relationship. Boatman owns boats. Okay, here I am using a relationship owning. Boatman owns boats. Boatman may own more than one boat. Means one boatman may own more than one boats. We can call M boats. Assuming this is M boats. But a boat is owned by only one boatman. A boat is owned by one boatman. Means what is the cardinality we can see between boatman and boat? One to many. Up to this line I discussed. Now each boat has unique identity code. Each boat has unique boat identity. I am calling it as boat ID. Boat ID is a key. Tourist party may book boats according to the number of persons in a party. Here I can take one more entity set we call tourist party. Tourist party book more than one boat, or several parties may book same boat. So between tourist party and boat can have some relationship called booking. Tourist party a booking to a particular boat. So booking is a relationship. Payment will be charged from the parties, tourist parties, on the basis of number of persons, hours booked, how many hours booked, and boat type. Parts of all rights are kept to charge boatmen a certain percentage of the income. So means boatmen will be given some payment based on the tourist party bookings. That here I can have some relationship between boatmen and tourist party. The relationship I am calling payment relationship. Okay, now I can get information that how much amount boatmen will get for the tourist party. They booked some boats. Question is which of the followings is are essential entities for dealing the database. So based on this analysis, what we understand, boatman could be an entity, boat is an entity, tourist party is an entity. So coming to the options, boats are given. It is possible to become an entity. Department, here we are not maintaining any information about the departments, and in the given para also it is not mentioned a department. Talking about tourist party information, so it requires how many number of persons in the party, how many hours they booked, and that information is required, and so the tourist party will be an entity set. Payment is a relationship, not the entity set. So answer for the question number 9 is both option A and option C. Number 10, tourism department operates boating facility at one of its eco park. There is a number of boats having different seating capacities. These boats are owned by a number of boatmen. Here what I can find entity set called boatmen, another entity set boat. Between them I can find a relationship called owns. Means why? Because boatman owns boat is a relationship. Up to this we understood. We'll see a boatman may own more than one boat. Boatman may own more than one boat. Boatman owns many boats. Okay, may own more than one boat. But boat is owned by only one boatman. Is owned by only one boatman. This is a cardinality we can see between boatman and boat, one to many. Boatman to boat is one to many, and friends we can read boat to boatman is many to one. Boat has an identity code. Boat is having identity code. We can call boat ID. BID. We call key code. Tourist party may book boats according to the number of persons in a party. So that I can have one more entity set called party. Booking. A relationship I am calling booking. Party may book more than one boat. A party may book more than one boat. Means one party may book many boats in one boat. Or several parties may book same boat. A boat may be booked by many parties. So means from this side is also many. So there is a cardinal difference between party and boat, many to many cardinality. Payment will be charged from the parties on the basis of number of persons, hours booked, and boat type. All rights are kept to charge boatmen a certain percentage of their income. So means between boatmen and this party, I can have a relationship payment. Pay that amount, percentage amount. Now question is, identify the correct statements about the database. In a given, there will be a many-to-many relationship between tourist party and boats. Between tourist party and boats, we identified the many-to-many relationship. So option A is the correct answer. Option B. There will be many-to-many relationship between boats and boatmen. Between boats and boatmen, do we have many-to-many relationship? No. Why? Because one boatman may own many boats, but one boat is owned by one boatman only. It many-to-many. It is between boats and boatmen. We can call many-to-one. Here, boat and boatman it is given. Reading is important, friends. Observe this point. Boats and boatmen. From boat to boatman, we have many-to-one, but even many-to-many. It is indicating that one boatman may have many boats and one boat may have many boatmen. So it is incorrect. Boat ID must be the foreign key of boatman. ID must be the foreign key of boatman. Why boat ID is foreign key of boatman? No, it is incorrect, because we have to have three tables after conversion of this ER model into relational model. Boatman, own, boat. And is a relationship between boatman and boat. So the relationship own will have primary key attributes of boat and boatman as a foreign key in the own relationship. That's why boat ID cannot be used in the boatman as a foreign key attribute. This is incorrect. The boatman ID must be a foreign key in the payment relation. This is correct. Why? Because payment is a relationship between boatman and tourist party. So primary key of this participating entity sets, boatman and tourist party, should be used as a foreign key in the payment relationship. This statement is correct. So answer for question number 10 is both option A and option D. Two answers for the question number 10. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.